forced to drop anti-terror charges against Boniface Mwangi, but 37 other people who were involved or were arrested on suspicion of taking part in the June 25th protests and the Sabasaba Day demonstrations are being charged, are facing terror charges. And the Daily Nation aptly puts it, eyes on the judiciary, which is the arm of government tasked with interpreting the laws. So is the administration of the day weaponizing the criminal justice system? Is the big question of the day. I want us to move on to the next conversation. It's about the IEBC. Finally, we do have an IEBC in place. They came up for the very first time to speak at the weekend, talking about their plans going forward. And I thank you, Bwana Gakuya, you mentioned the issue about some of the debates that are coming up and the amount of public confidence that people have on the IEBC and whether or not they'll be able to carry out a free and fair election come 2027. Madam Chege, we've had some of your colleagues from the National Assembly talk about the intention or plan to rig on behalf of President William Ruto to add votes for him. And it's not just come from one member. At least two have talked about possible manipulation of the votes come 2027. With the kind of trust deficit that the IEBC, and not just this one, in history, all electoral bodies, from the ECK, IEC, and now IEBC, the kind of trust deficit and low public confidence they faced. What does this portend for the current IEBC, which is just starting out 2 years away from the election? Some of the statements we hear from your colleagues.
I just want to say that some of those statements are unfortunate, but you know, when people get the mic, especially in political rallies, people tend to go beyond what is reasonable, I would say. And I think you had the Prime Cabinet Secretary condemning and saying those people make even the president look like he would be involved in rigging, but those were no sentiments from the president. And those were sentiments that were done in political rallies. What I would say is that we have now a new IEBC. It's upon themselves and they have the onus to gain the public, for the public to have confidence in them, depending on how they're going to conduct the elections. We have a lot of by-elections coming up. And so they need to up their game. They're the ones who need to win the confidence of the public. And I would say, whether it's myself, Akuya, or Joe, who is the chair or who is a member of IEBC, they are just very few individuals. You know, elections involve such a huge, number of people. But they are the ones at the helm. They are the ones who are given the responsibility from the way they will recruit the people to conduct the elections, going all the way to the grassroots, the transparency. All these things need to help them gain public confidence. But for now, what I would say, I wish them well. I wish them very well. I wouldn't be bothered by those sentiments that made by those honorable members. I don't think they were official statements. People sometimes, even in parliament, and I always say they play to the gallery sometimes. Somebody wants to become popular with a specific statement. And so once if I say this, the public is going to react, and that's my only way of being known. Politicians, we are funny sometimes. So what I would wish is that the IEBC, we have already many pending matters. We need voters registration. We need to gain the public confidence. We need to make sure that we have a clear database of the voters. We have, from the last time we did the voter registration, there's such a gap. And so we have many people who have not registered as voters. That should be the priority. The areas that they have not had representatives should also be their priority to make sure that they conduct those elections. I think they have communicated already to the parliament for the seats that are vacant. And I think very soon we're going to know the dates for the by-elections. That is their priority. They just need to focus, and I would want to urge those new members of IEBC that they focus and avoid politics. Let them focus on the work at hand, because their plate is full. I am not so sure how they're going to survive within those 2 years remaining, it's actually 2 years remaining, because there are many things that are also meant to be done as per the law. And I think their priority now is for them to sit with their league officers. And because the secretariat has been existing for a very long time, I hope now that the commissioners are there, it's upon them now to start prioritizing, because there are things that are bound, they have a timeline, and they need to be done before we see that we are ready, all of us are ready for the elections 2027.
Oh, yes. Indeed, the IEBC has its work cut out, including by-elections for 7 legislative positions at the national level and so many things. But given our history of contested elections over the last 20 years and the kind of statements we are hearing now,